law is a very serious word. So today we'll look at about there are about 68 laws of money, but probably we will only look at few because of this for the sake of our time. I have a short, one small video that I saw this afternoon. All right, I was just going through something on Facebook, so maybe my brother will play for you. You ready, sir? All right, it's okay. I was just coming just a minute before now, and I said, wow. I said, wow. So this guy is attempting to get something without going through the moral, way of getting it. So probably, but that's just by the way. All right. So please, if you're at the back, we can occupy the front seat, and let's not leave an empty spaces. Yeah, please don't leave any empty space at the back. That's nice. So I would like to start by telling you a story that I normally share in this class most of the time. It's a story that I had of two young couples that got married and they are happily living. And one day the couple, I mean, the husband asked the wife, she said, honey, and he said, yes. He said, did you marry me because of the money? And she said, come on. No, you know I love you. And he said, yes. He said, I will have still married you regardless of who left the money. You're confused, right? He said, honey, do you marry me because my parents leave a lot of money before they died? And she said, no, honey, you know I love you. I will have still marry you regardless of who left the money. Why are you laughing? Because money is still involved. All right? So there are laws that govern accumulation of money, and any man who masters those laws, I remember one thing that Tony Robbins said. He said, money is a bad master, right? Is a bad master. That's if you allow money to control you. 97% out of every 100 people die broke. If you keep out of 100 people here towards the before we die, you figured out that statistically, when you keep 100 people at the start of their life, suppose they are 25, by the time maybe they are 65, according to All Nightingale, all right? The holistic total, I don't want to go to tell you much of the detail, but in holistic point is that about 97% of those people will die broke. Only 3% make it. And yet, every day in, day out of our human endeavor, is targeted towards making money. In other words, if now I find out some of the laws that govern this thing and I master those laws, I'll be master over money, right? Yes, and when I master, it means I can make money at will. And for us to understand what even law is, we have to start by, in the scientific world, there are about four things. I wish the board is here, all right, that we look at before we consider something to say to be a law, right? And one of the first, we look at facts. There are facts. Facts are nothing but statement of observations, right? For example, the fact is that the sun is shining. It's a fact, right? But it's not tested yet. Is it a fact? It's a fact that sun is shining. But now, if I take a step to go out under the sun and probably the sun is shining, probably now I've moved from just the stage of conceptualizing that the sun is shining, right, to a point of experience. And now I've tested the fact, right? And now it becomes what we call hypothesis, right? Hypothesis. Now, when hypotheses have been tested over and over and over again, and maybe same result is being obtained out of every given number, certain number of practice, and being agreed by majority of scientists, what we now have, we can call it a theory, right? Something that is a theory. It means under every most given situations, if you repeat this thing, you are sure that this outcome is guaranteed. The problem is laws. Because laws, are phenomena that doesn't change regardless of, under every certain conditions, they don't change with time, with every conditions out there. And for example, we can say, example of laws, can some of us mention one or two? I know the first thing that comes to your mind is gravity. Under every certain situation and conditions, we know that gravity now, it's a law. It's no longer a hypothesis. It's no longer a theory, because theories can change with new evidence, right? But law doesn't change. And so there are different kind of laws. We have spiritual laws, we have physical laws, we have laws that govern business, there are laws of money, there are laws of marriage, there are laws that govern relationship, right? And there are absolute laws. It means there are laws that are true both for the physical world and for the unseen world, All right. And one of the those type of laws is what we call the law of attraction that a lot of people have been talking about. Attraction is an absolute law. Both in the world of the seen and the unseen, it remains the same. It's just that in the unseen, as you think it happened, in the physical realm, it gives you, there's a buffer of time that you have to correct whatever it is that you created in your mind that you don't want to experience it in your life at the present state. All right. So one of the most important things then is to understand. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people govern their life with facts rather than laws. They live their life by facts that they acquired about a certain particular thing. So most of the things that people do, especially that regards to do with money, were factual. They were not probably, those actions and those behaviors are not rooted in laws. And therefore, that's why you see two, three different people have different kind of results. If it's a law, it means regardless, if I apply the same thing and if I live by the same law, you live by the same law, all of us will have the same outcome, right? But now, if I live my own based on my facts, and facts are just statement of observation, things that I happen to observe in my immediate, probably, let's say, environment. And there are certain facts that affect our life, especially when it relates to money, right? Most of our conclusion of what money is not necessarily what money is. And the question now is, for instance, what is money? Who tell me what money is? How many of you have some money? How many of you have some money? We have some money, right? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Now, okay, let me just look at a paper here. All right. Okay, this is 500. What is this? Is this money or not? Is this money or not? Yeah. Why do you say it's money? Thank you. That's what I'm looking at, all right? Is the value in it that makes it money. This paper on its own has no value except for the value, all right, that is being built around it, right? If I have 100,000, 1,000 not 550,000, they are all not, right? But they represent different values in the marketplace, right? So at the point of printing, the printers decided to say, well, we are going to ascribe 500 naira worth of value in this paper. So whosoever has it have a purchasing power of at least 500 naira. So if I have it now, I can exchange a certain value with it, right? And then we said that money is nothing but just a medium of exchange of value, right? Is a medium of exchange of value. So the central point in money about money is value, is the value it produces. So there are 68 laws of money. Law number one. So what I'm about to tell you is that under every given situation and condition, these laws doesn't change. If you apply them, if you live by them, you will undeniably have that kind of result as every one other person else. I remember that one of the laws I tell you here, especially when I try to relate the arithmetic procedures that normally we do 2 plus 3 to be 5, right? W- it's an arithmetic law. So I know that if I add 2 plus 3, I'll get 5. You see? Whether I'm a 5 years old or I'm 50 years old, I'll get 5, right? Whether I'm black or white, I'll get 5. So obedience to law is what rewards you. Now you're punished. I was discussing with someone, in fact, and when he called me, he's my friend, he's in Uyo State, so he called me this afternoon. He said, "Why do you want to talk about money today, about loss of money?" And I said, "Well, it's important." And he said, "Most people, then you have to find a way to help a lot of people make money because there's much problems in our society. A lot of people have money problems." I said, "That's not true. Do many people have money problems? Are you sure?" Uh, I discovered that only few people have money problems. The majority don't have money problems. Yes. Who have some money problems here? Ah, okay. You see, a poor man don't have a money problem. he have lack of money problem. The problem of a poor man is what? Is lack of money. They don't have money problems. It's only rich people that have money problems. And that's true. All right? So how can a lot of people now begin to solve a problem that they don't have in the first place? And that's why my goal is that I want a lot of you to make as much money as possible so that all of you will have money problems. I wish you money problems this year. Yeah, I mean, I want to wake up one day and then maybe Mr. Dapo said, "Well, I have a problem of 2 billion, 3 billion. Last 3 days, I just need like 10 billion. That's a good problem, right? Yeah, that's problem. But for a poor man, he don't have it yet. So it's lack of it that is his problem. So I said, well, I think part of what the laws is going to do is that if everybody master what the laws are, they can be able to build their life around it. And so if they don't have, they can have, so that they will start having money problems. If they have money already, at least some of the laws will be able to guide them on how to avoid and solve those money problems. Right? So that's the goal. There are few laws when it comes to money. And when we say something is law, it means it's an established fact. It doesn't change. And so the law number one is popular. Of course, I've been talking about it in this class, all right? Except that, the more we continue, the less familiar some of them are going to be for a lot of few. So the first one is called the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. Yes, cost and effect. Yes. So this law states that everything happened for a reason. Everything you see out there happened for a reason. And that for every result, there is a cause. So poverty is an effect. Riches is an effect. To change the effect, you have to go back to change the cause that produced the effect. It says what? Everything happened for a reason. So if someone is poor, there's a reason why he or she is poor. If someone is not doing well, there is a reason why they are not doing well. True? Yes. If someone is successful, there is a reason why they are successful. The law states simple in clear terms. He said, then, having this definitive understanding, whatever kind of result that you want, look for people that are living the cause, those specific causes that have the money or the result that you have. Find out some of the specific causes that produce their effect and do the same thing over and over, and you will have the same effect as they do. And the amazing thing about it is that what 1, 2, 3, 4 people have done and have gotten result, millions of people have done, you can do as well. True? So how many of you are not doing as much as you should be doing? I'm one of them. True. How many of you know some certain number of people out there that are living the way you want to live, that have the kind of result? I know some. How many of you can identify some specific causes, some of the things they are doing that is more different, that is about at least different from what you're doing? You know that. So the law says that don't wish for it. What are you supposed to do? So look for the cause and leave the cause. Everything you see in the world have a reason. There's a reason why you're poor. There's a reason why you're rich. There's a reason why you're struggling financially. Who are the people that are living the kind of life I want? Who are the people that have the kind of effect? Because money is an effect. That's what the law says, right? The law says that money is an effect. The situation and the condition you are in your life right now is an effect. Go and change the course. I remember several years, the same thing happens to me. I look at my life one day and I was not happy with it. And I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. But I know that wishing will not change it, right? Hoping will not change it. So what am I supposed to do? And I look at who are those people that are living the life that I want? And what are some of the causes? If you add 2 plus 3, you will get 5. So the causes there is the 2 plus 3, and the effect is 5. Now I look at my life at the point of 5. Most of us change, we look at our life at the point of the result, not necessarily at what brings about the result. And more interesting is that every action, every idea you are living, they are specific causes against tomorrow. Everything you're doing today are going to produce effect. The effect will be tomorrow. The tomorrow's effect is determined by what you're doing today. So if I want different result from tomorrow than I had today, it means I have to look for different causes, all right? That's going to guarantee different result tomorrow. And that's why last class that we talked about, especially when we talk about New Year, I said the major problem that a lot of people are going to have, especially this year, is that there are no new causes in their life that's going to create new effect. That's why you say in the video, I said, if you're still living a familiar path, just know that you are not living right. Because all causes will always bring the same kind of effect. And that's why I said that a lot of people will not have New Year. They don't even have New Year. They're going to have 2019 in 2020. They are doomed to repeat their past in this 2020 because all the effects that they're going to experience are product of the causes. I mean, if that law is true, it means if you're not doing something different, all right? If you cannot, experience different causes in your life, it means that the outcome is not going to be different. And that's what the law says, and it's very important. I want you to write 2 things that you do from today. What are the 2 causes that 2 things you can start doing from today that will change your life from tomorrow? What are the 2 things you know? Most of the times, everybody know what they need to do to be successful, but they don't do what they know. So if we live by the law of cause and effect that governs human success, then what are some of the effects that you know will produce the kind of, causes that I've been confusing the cause and the effect, right? What are specific causes that if only I live them will guarantee different outcome from tomorrow? So just list 2 things and make sure there are 2 things that you're going to start working on them right from today, not tomorrow. That's why I said in the last class, I said all ways of doing things cannot create new result. So you have to look for specific new causes. What are some of the things? And here is what it says. It says, thoughts are causative and result are effect. Thoughts are causative, are causes, and result are effect. As a matter of fact, every result you see in your life today has its root from your thought, right? True. So the good news is that if you don't like what you're seeing today, you can change. Human beings can change overnight, and that's the good thing. So the second law is one of the most important laws. Yes, thoughts are causative. Thoughts are causes, right? Results are effects. And there are good effects and there are bad effects. When it comes in terms of money, poverty is a bad effect. True? Write this down. The wages, by the way, how many of you know that popular verses in the Bible? It said the wages of sin is death. True? What is sin? The word sin is means transgression against a law. True? So if you break the laws of God, what it says is that means you have committed a sin, right? And so the wages of that sin is death. True? So there are laid down principles and laid down laws of financial success and prosperity. If you violate any of those laws, if you transgress against them, it means you have committed a sin against the law of wealth. True? So the punishment, right? Poverty is the punishment of transgression against the laws of wealth. It's a punishment. Just like the way God is going to punish any human being that commits sin and is going to die because they transgress against the laws of God, right? against the spiritual laws of God. So if you transgress against a natural laws of of success, of wealth, of money, what would be your punishment? Poverty. Yes. I remember one time in one class, I said, every poor man is a sinner. And people will say, oh, wow, what does this guy mean? Right? Yes. It means they have sinned against the law of money. And therefore, they must be punished accordingly. We live in a just world. True? God is just. And so the laws of the universe are just. They don't segregate. It doesn't care you're Christian, Muslim, Hindu, black, white. I can imagine maybe because and decide to probably go out, maybe jump through this window and says that no, gravity will not work against me. I wish that is true. So that's the place of law. Law is universal. Regardless of who is the practitioner, you get the same outcome. Right? No sentiment. Thank you so much, sir. And that's what explains why a 15 years old child can be a multi-millionaire and a 50 years old man can be broke. Because laws doesn't care who you are. And that's what explains why you see a 20 years old person that is a super multi-millionaire and someone at 80 is still struggling, living in hand to mouth, depending on families and friends, and that's it. And it also explains why a 30 years old guy can be broke and a 50 years old man rich. Laws doesn't care. Whosoever put the law into use will be rewarded by the law. So the second most important laws when it comes in terms of money is called the law of exchange. The law of exchange is one of the most important laws in the fact that and one of the central point in the law of exchange, it says that value, right? It's that people meet to exchange goods and services for the value they perceive. The perceived value, right? So people meet for the exchange of goods and services based on the perceived value they have.